Well, we are actually going to shuffle on to another topic, but I've got to introduce a guest that I would hope was going to hop on today. But
Oh, look at this.
Here.
We have a celebrity here.
Oh, well, I just finished
Jack?
communicating with Samba TV. I had intended to be here on time, but me and Samba got into a little bit of a conversation after Valiant managed to get them to chat with him.
Really?
And yeah, so we've got some interesting stuff.
We got a super chat about Samba, actually, if you want to.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been talking about it. I'm coming in a little blind.
No, actually, your timing is kind of perfect, actually.
So what your timing is perfect. Let's shuffle on to our next topic, which is conversely to what you've just been talking about, but the information will be interested to go into. Star Wars has done something they've never done before and basically come out and released an official statement to poo-poo everything we've just talked about with Samba TV. They've never done this before. This is epic damage control, and that's why I wanted to get on that topic first.
Yes.
Talk about it as if it was legit and real and true, and there was no statement. Why? Because this is all total bollocks. So I want to hear from you, WDW Pro. What have you heard from Samba TV? And then we'll get to this, because basically they're saying Ahsoka draws 14 million viewers for the first episode. I call utter bollocks on that. So what have you heard?
What we are...
Even the audience doesn't believe it, see?
What we are trying to figure out right now, and Samba TV thus far does not have an answer for me as to how this could possibly have happened. But they are claiming, of course, that this is on par with Andor. Okay? So,
which I can believe.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, 2.4 million households. That's how Samba TV measures it, of course, households. That means that Ahsoka is at 1.2 million. Okay? Now, here's the issue. I can't, for the life of me, figure out how many households with this many people could have tuned in, because when I think of a household, I think of 4 or 5 or 6. So I'm thinking that the whole world's went to the Duggars, right?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Pro, you are thinking is like, I'm like, is Disney figuring like each household has 11 or 12 people in it or what?
Yeah.
All right, so I've asked Samba TV how this discrepancy can occur. Here's what really gets this muddy, and why I think somebody at Samba TV is going to get fired. Perhaps an intern managing their social media accounts willing to engage with us. But here's the issue. Samba TV has a contract with Disney. That's what we believe to be true. Samba TV actually does Disney's dirty work to some degree. Now, what do you do if you're Samba TV and you come out with one of your clients and you claim that they've hit 1.2 million? The client seems to be reacting with foreknowledge that you're going to do this. Otherwise, you're right. This is unprecedented. So why would they do it? But here they come out with 14 million views. And frankly, I mean, I don't see any way that 14 million views can be accurate. Here's why. How would Disney possibly know how many people are sitting in front of the television?
Yeah.
Ponder that for a moment.
Well, not just that. Okay, so let's say it says 14 million views. So they're talking clicks. That's what they're saying.
Maybe.
So that's where Disney is going to put their little asterisks on this. I guarantee you, and I bet you, is it playing in the banner? I don't know. I haven't visited Disney Plus in I don't know how long. So if it's actually playing in the banner, they could be counting those as clicks like they did with Lord of the Rings. That's what I was curious about. Yeah,
or are they making an assumption? Are they assuming that for every click, there's 4 viewers behind the click? I don't know.
That could be too. I don't buy I don't buy this BS, because just so the audience kind of has an idea of what kind of numbers we're talking here. This is the kind of audience that Big Bang Theory and CSI get. Yes. We're talking 2 of the biggest damn shows on television at the time.
Yes. That's perfect point there. And think about this too, okay? So look at the wording in this. Ahsoka draws 14 million views.
Yeah, so they're saying an actual watch.
Do we count, though, if someone watches it a second time? Does that count? Does Samba TV count that?
I don't know if they watch it for 5 minutes, stop,
and then return,
click again. Yes, that's what
exactly.
I'm Pro. Yeah,
lots of curiosities in these details.
But it is telling that this is the first time they've ever done this, because they've never come out and done anything like this ever.
No,
it's fascinating. So
let's just break down this.
Well, it is. Let's break down their statement, and then we'll sort of shoot the breeze on it. So Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company are thrilled and humbled to announce that part 1 of Ahsoka, Master and Apprentice, was the most watched title on Disney Plus this past week. Okay, interesting. The debut episode garnered 14 million views, making the series #1 globally on the streaming platform. So they're talking about global, aren't they? Actually,
Yes.
they are very, 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 very much going. No, global. Actually, when you look at 14 million views globally,
That's poor.
that's abysmal.
What's the total number of Disney Plus subscriptions right now? Anybody know?
Last I knew, it was somewhere between 60 and 80 million.
Is that in the States or worldwide, though?
No, that would be
That would be the States, I think.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at 14
So
million
worldwide,
views
let me look.
worldwide, that is
100. No,
1%. It's probably going to be like 1% of their total.
Okay, the latest numbers I have, they are above. Well, no, hold on a second. They were above 160 in February of 23. We know they've dropped. I think it's 154 if I remember correctly. But I'm remembering. Okay, so 154, right? So even with this, which clearly is part of a narrative war, okay, you've got a client of Disney releasing numbers that show that this opened to the same level as Andor, and we all know that Andor is a failure. Okay, well, they can't let this, this launches Thrawn, this launches their effort into the Mandoverse movie, so they can't let this fail. They can't let this narrative get out, right? So they launch a counter narrative to battle against Samba TV, which now they're in quite the spot. But here's the crazy part. Even if Disney is sitting there with their actuaries figuring out some kind of crazy formula to come up with this kind of number, 14 million compared to 150 million plus total subscribers.
So bad.
Okay, now those subscribers are single units. The viewership that can come off those accounts are multiples. Okay, so let's say, just to make it easy, let's say that for every subscription, you're talking about 3 individuals. Okay, now you run those numbers, and what you're going to find out is you're sitting at something like 450 million possible viewers out there for Disney Plus. And
Yeah,
Disney running the very best they can to get to this number reached 14 million total. Yeah,
globally.
Wow.
It doesn't even compute because I'm looking at the Nielsen right now for like the amount of minutes in the millions and stuff like that. Like the biggest shows right now and the biggest channels, Disney Plus doesn't even show up till Bluey, as you guys would know.
So funny.
And this is just ridiculous. There's no effing way.
Here's the crazy thing.
This.
Here's the really crazy thing. I had heard that Ahsoka, now from sources that I have in Disney, they had told me yesterday, and this can be confirmed by Valiant Renegade, it can be confirmed by Jonas J. Campbell and others who were in the Slack looking at it. Culture, you may have had access to this too. I don't know. But I said that I had heard that Ahsoka was outperforming Mandalorian season 3. Now that's coming from people inside Disney to me. Okay. So that narrative may have already been forming inside Disney to get that out there. Because then when the Samba TV numbers came out, I said, well, that's what my intuition would have said, but it's not what my sources said. So it's all very fascinating.
Yeah, well, but this total hogswash, basically. I mean, 40 million viewers worldwide is not good. That's not good.
Even the biggest shows on television don't even get a third of those kind of viewings right now from what I'm looking at here.
Yeah. But so Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm president, did actually release a statement. Again, unprecedented, never done this before. Why would you do this for this one? So bizarre. Ahsoka has become a fan favorite with people of all ages, and it's wonderful to see her continue to resonate with viewers in her very own headlining series. I want to recognize the fantastic work done by our creative team, led by Dave Filoni, #1 word there, and Jon Favreau comes up #2. Ridiculous. The incredible cast led by Rosario
John
Dawson.
even got mentioned.
I know. And our talented crew. And on behalf of the team and all of Lucasfilm, we give our thanks to all the fans who have been with Ahsoka on every step of her journey, and to all those who are just learning about her now in Ahsoka on Disney Plus. Right. Well,
I'm surprised you didn't call it her story.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, honestly, I'm going to call absolute hogswash on this for a few reasons, because the Samba TV numbers are pretty accurate, right? And they've obviously gone, right, well, we need something to counter that narrative. So Samba TV's come out and said this. Samba TV probably reports.
Have we really
to
even
Disney. They've got a
explained to the
contract.
folks out there what Samba TV is?
Well, over to you, Tom.
Well, I would say culture probably would be a better.
Over to you, culture.
Yeah.
Well, unless Pro wants to talk about it, but no, Samba
my
TV. Samba TV is an embedded device that is on set-top boxes and in televisions, and by default, I believe it is enabled in the United States on those devices to track all of the things that you watch that it's capable of tracking. You may have to opt in, but for whatever reason, in the back of my mind, I seem to recall
It's
that
probably in your opting in when you sign up for the internet on your television or whatever. I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Largely something like that. But regardless, what they do is it literally gives Samba access to the data around what it is as far as the programs that you view. And Samba TV, because of its very nature, is limited to the number of households that has the boxes in it, which it was reported to be, according to one of the things that I follow, the something of apps, the business of apps, and Statista. By doing a little bit of research there, it worked out to be about 1/3 of households in the United States have the ability for Samba to track them. Whether or not it's actually working there,
I think you compared it to the math of what the actual final numbers were sometimes. So you figured it's roughly about 3 times the number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's really about 1/3 of the total number of viewers is what it was working out to. I haven't done any analysis for a while, but that's what it was. But Samba TV that's what they do. They track stuff, and they do have many clients, as Pro pointed out, Disney being one of them. But there are many clients that they have. They're trying to figure out, well, if their commercials are running, believe it or not, or if people are actually watching these shows to give real time feedback, because it actually informs whether or not they continue to develop the same show, or they move on to something else, or they find something that they can mimic that somebody else is doing. That's what all of this is for. It's kind of like a poor man's version of Nielsen. Nielsen actually tracks self-reported households and their own physical boxes, and it does a little bit more minutia when they're doing that kind of research. But with Samba, they just are tracking the raw information and then compiling. So at least
couple of additions, and Culture's got that completely right. So we'll just add to his 100%. We'll take it to 120.
Yeah.
What Nielsen and Samba are doing are two very different things.
They are. Yeah.
And both of them are sort of incomplete without the other, although I would say that we still need more data, and
indeed
the streaming services have in their own inherent interest to not give us that data. But here's what we've got. Samba TV, unless they have changed since the last time we did a report on this, which is, internally they could change it and we would never know. But as of the last time that we did a report on this, maybe like a year ago, Samba TV counts a household as having viewed a show or a movie after it registers 5 minutes of continuous watching. Okay? Now, what Nielsen does is they don't care at all about that. Nielsen, based on what their sample size of Nielsen families say they watched, Nielsen looks at how long they suggest that was playing on their television. Yep. And then Nielsen uses that sample size to aggregate out how many millions or billions of minutes were consumed of that show or movie. Now, what Disney is doing, it looks to me like, is that if anybody clicked on this show for 5 seconds, or if they clicked on it 3 or 4 times, for whatever reason, Disney appears to be counting that. And then separately to that, we don't know, is Disney also assuming that, well, there's 3 sets of eyeballs on this, there's 4 sets of eyeballs on this. We have no idea. That's how that's registered.
Yeah, I can believe that. It's also important to note, just as an FYI, even if we're running just off of Samba TV numbers, Samba TV, as a percentage of US households, they have about 28 million US households that they are plugged into. 28 million. So that is an accurate cross section. If you're looking at it, 1.2, you're looking at that. That's horrendous. I can absolutely believe it. And I you know what? I can honestly believe as well. I understand what you're saying, Pro, Culture, Tom. But I think actually what what Disney's done here is go 40 million views worldwide. That's it. Yeah, we'll just throw that number out, but we won't actually specify and stipulate. So we'll try and counter everything with that instead. So 40 million views worldwide, because people will just see the number, the headline number, and not question it and go, well, that's great, not knowing how many subs that they have on a global basis, and go, yeah, 40 million, that's epic. Wow, what huge numbers. Whereas it's actually terrible. So I think that they might have been honest that it's 14 million views worldwide, and hoping, because they've released it in such quick succession to the Samba TV numbers, that people will be dumb, which they are, and think that this is in correlation to the US households as opposed to anything else. But if you're looking at
I've dropped a tweet for you. I think they're still called tweets. Perhaps they're called X's, but that sounds more depressing.
It says twitter.com right there on the thing there. So
that's right. But if you click on that, I think you'll find that there's an extra layer to whatever is going on with Disney and their rush to get ahead of this. It's all very interesting yet again, but
that's the thing is they don't have to prove it. They don't have to do jack squat.
You're talking about this press release, aren't you?
That's right, where a correction had to be issued. And very quickly as well. Crazy. And so they came out originally and said that Ahsoka was going to have 15 million views. And then, 9 minutes later? 9 minutes later, we get a correction. Oh, it's 14 million. So who's playing loosey-goosey with the numbers over there at Disney? And does it even mean anything?
Well, it's a correction.
And you know what it really means?
What's a couple million between friends, Pro?
The reason that we're seeing this rush by Disney is because now Disney has an ad tier. Well, what do you not want your investors and advertisers to see? You don't want them to see that Ahsoka, which is supposed to be your flagship title for Q3, is bombing down to Andor levels. That's no good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.